Hey Siri, start a walk.
Starting your workout in
Alrighty, gonna try something. I don't know how it's gonna work out or how much people will care, but it's really dark. Maybe it'll adjust. We'll see. Um, it's Friday. What is today? I have no idea what today is. The 16th? I think it's the 16th. 18th. Friday the 18th. February 18th, 2022. We got a big truck coming. Going for a walk. I usually try to do, man, I am super conscious about this video thing. Alright, so yeah, so I usually do a walk in the morning every day. Part of my routine to get out. Oh, you guys are not gonna be able to see anything. You know what? We'll just roll with it. Doesn't really matter. Fuck, this is gonna be terrible, isn't it? Oh, whatever. I usually try to do a walk every morning, and I don't usually have like a set amount that I walk, but it's usually about 10 minutes or so. It's literally like first thing in the morning. I get out of bed, put on some warm clothes because it's cold, and start my coffee, turn on the heat in the house, and step out the door. So this is like 2 minutes after I wake up. And that's because I wake up with the sun. I don't wake up with the alarm clock or anything. Thankfully, I don't have anything that requires me to, I don't have to be somewhere like at a specific time in the mornings. And I would do, and after having experienced not having to get up and be somewhere early in the morning at a certain time, it's not about sleeping in, it's about having to set the alarm clock. Not having to have a alarm clock set to be somewhere at a certain time every day and disrupting your sleep. It makes at least for me, it's made a huge difference. I don't wake up with an alarm clock. I just wake up with the sun for the most part. Usually when things, the house, I think in actuality what happens is that I wake up more with the sound of the traffic going by the house. It gets really loud, all this cars coming by. But yeah. Man, there's some people, neighbors and stuff coming by, and I'm like really conscious about this whole video log thing. Guys aren't watching this for the video because it's not that big. Anyway, yeah. So mornings. Yeah. So I get up with the sun in the morning, and it's a huge thing. But sometimes I'll take a walk in the after lunch. Like sometimes if I eat lunch and I feel like I need to work more in the afternoon, because I usually try to get all of my work done in the mornings. I don't find that very useful in the afternoons. I usually get about a good solid 4 hours in the morning, sometimes up to 6. If I stretch it, of like really, like truly productive time, and pretty much just get everything done, and then after lunch, I usually like to take lunch then, and then after lunch I just deal with other stuff and things that aren't really demanding at work. And but if I do really have to, it's like crunch time or something or other, and I really need to like get in more hours of somewhat productive time, I'll take a walk. So I'll take a little nap, like a 20-minute power nap, and that is crucial. I have done long naps. I've tried long naps and no naps and all the variations of naps, and it is absolutely true. You have to, if you are going to take the nap, you are not going to be able to consistently get going after the nap if you do not limit it to 15 to 20 minutes, at least for me. It's just something about, you can't get too deep into sleep, because I've done it before, like like working a bunch of hours or whatever, and just take like a whole, like an hour or 2 hour nap in the afternoon, and then to try to get going again after that. I know some people have a lot more willpower than me, but that is darn near impossible for me to get going after a break like that. It's just, and if I do get going, it is a struggle to like actually be productive. So yeah, I don't know where I was going. So yeah, I take a walk, and sometimes, not so much because I don't really take lunches anymore. What I do now is I try to get everything done before lunch. That's like my goal. If I get everything done before lunch, then I can take the rest of the day off, because I pushed myself to be ultra productive. I can allow myself, instead of having, on the wall, have my hourly time, on the wall be, may only be 4 hours, but I did 8 hours worth of work, So that's my goal, is just try to be more efficient, and but if I don't end up usually taking a walk, or because I don't usually end up taking the nap in the afternoon. Probably because I haven't needed a nap. I don't know, I guess maybe I've been sleeping better. So yeah, God, this is going to be so rambly. I don't know if anybody's going to want to watch this, or I watch like stream of conscious stuff and people just chatting on YouTube and stuff, but I know it's not the like normal or anything. What do I care? It is what it is. Let's leave it at that, and maybe I'll get better. Maybe I'll start doing this like first thing in the morning, or maybe it'll be like a lunchtime thing, or just afternoons. So I don't usually walk in the afternoon. This is like it's like 7, 8 o'clock at night. Sun just went down like an hour or two ago, I guess. So it's not super late or anything, but I don't usually get out. Usually in the evenings, if I'm getting out and about during the week, it's usually I go do my CrossFit, which I haven't done all week. Been slacking off, but usually it'll be to go do CrossFit, and then I come home, and then it's the nightly routine after that. Eat and get groomed, and maybe do a little reading and write in my journal, and then maybe an hour or two of watching TV if I feel like it. been really cutting back on the TV lately, at least in principle. It's part of my routine. I've been cutting back, but if I take a day off or whatever from work, then I'll watch TV all day. So I don't know if I'm actually getting anywhere by cutting it out. But I don't know. What is this going to be about? I keep debating getting a video camera. Like I kind of got this idea that. So one of my habits that I've set up for myself, I have like this huge habit tracker that I use to make sure that I'm doing everything that aligns with what I think I want out of life, and it's little things. I like I feel like I want a tidy house. Let's make that happen. So I've got a little thing that I clean something every day, or I want to be more I don't know, reflective, contemplative, and it's just like in general, but also as part of like professional development and everything. So one of the habits is like I journal every night. And that's not something I've done for like a very long time, but it's been part of my ever since I started doing the habit tracking. That's one of the things that I do. And so I forget where this is going. So one of the habits was, I thought, is part of like being creative. So I play the guitar, and that's one of the creativity habits. So I have a check mark for creativity for playing the guitar. And then also read. So that's another creative and professional development thing. And I did have draw. I had draw for the first 1 or 2 months that I was doing the habit tracker. But I like the utility of drawing, because I've never been like a huge drawer. Well, I did when I was a kid, but everybody draws when they're a kid. But I never really developed a skill, like an artistic skill, like visual arts or anything like that. It was always music with me. It is like the pure arts or whatever. It was always music, and then later on, mathematics and engineering is where most of my creativity was. That was my outlet. But I thought, it's useful to just have like basic drawing skills to be able to draw something semi-decent, that should be able to, if I need to draw a horse, I need to draw, it would be nice to be able to draw something that a recognizable horse if I needed to. If I needed to draw a house, I can draw a recognizable house. That kind of thing. So I had, for the longest time, I had drawing as not the longest time. For like 2 months I had drawing as a goal, but I just didn't take to it. I was drawing every night in my journal. I bought this nice set of pencils or whatever. It wasn't super expensive, but they were nice pencils. And I did get better, but I just didn't feel engaged with it, and I ended up dropping it. So I don't do it every day, and I think pretty much since I dropped it, I haven't done it at all since. I haven't drawn anything really since then. But I still kind of feel like I need like an artistic, like a visual artistic medium or whatever. And I keep coming on these stints to get into photography or videography or whatever, which I do kind of like. I kind of like making videos. I have at times dabbled with photography. I can't say I ever really got into it. I never actually like properly learned like all of the jargon, the ISO and f stops and aperture and all of the 25 millimeter, 35 millimeter. But I do have this channel that I watch on YouTube. This crazy guy. I know him from like a diet related channel called Vegetable Police. But anyway, he's got this other, and he's hilarious. But that's how I got to know him, was through the diet stuff. But he has this other channel called Camera Conspiracies, and he just I won't say reviews, but he does demonstrations more and experiments more than anything. He kind of takes like the products or whatever, and they're never like, well, they rarely are like officially sponsored like YouTube review units, and they got embargoes and all that stuff. So he's kind of like sort of outside of that whole nonsense with YouTube, the basically paid advertisement thing that goes on most YouTube channels. Anyway, at least that's the way it seems. So anyway, but he's really great, and I watch him just, at least especially at the beginning, mostly just because of his personality, and he's also taught me some fair amount about cameras, just listening to him talk. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't look anything up or whatever. And just sheer osmosis, you learn a lot of the jargon and stuff like that. And so I keep coming back to this idea that I want to get a nice camera, like a Sony, was it A7 S3 or A7C, or one of these really nice, like full frame or whatever you call it, cameras. But these are like super duper high. You're talking about like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for a camera. They're not the most expensive, but they're like at the top end of what you would consider. They're professional grade cameras. Not the top grade professional cameras, but they're nobody's, if you're a professional and you're using the camera, no other professional is going to criticize you for using that equipment, just put it that way. At least that's the way I understand it. But anyway, so I keep thinking that maybe I want to get something like that, because I really do like the idea of YouTube and independent publishing and stuff like that, and because I do watch a lot of YouTube, and I do like that kind of community. I think it's one of the most valuable things, next to like wikis and forums and stuff like that. YouTube it's so informative. It can be a huge time waster, but it's also so powerfully informative. I use it all the time. Like, I'm like, oh, something's wrong with my sink or whatever, I just go on YouTube and I mean, you could do a Google search before and get like some blog post or whatever, but now you can see like a video. Somebody walks you through it step by step, how to unstop your sink or your toilet or something, something. And it's about just about anything that you can think of. You got to be doing something extremely technical and rare that you cannot find it on YouTube, or at least some examples on YouTube of some explaining how something goes. And I just love it. But anyway, going back to the video thing, I keep thinking that, well, maybe photography can be my artistic outlet. But when I keep coming back to it, is like, when it, I'm like, I should just, like, if the only way I could justify the expense is if I really need it, and I don't really need it. Like I have this phone here, and if I'm not making videos like every single day, this video is the video here is perfectly fine. Especially since this is an old phone, so this is doing 720p right now. But that's because I want to use the front-facing camera. The video would be better if I could flip the camera around and use the rear-facing camera, but I don't do that because every time I try to do that on the video, I can't see I can't see the framing. I can't see what's happening. If this is going to be a one-man operation, then I need to be able to see what's happening, and that's just not happening. So I could have the nicer picture on the back side of the phone, but I don't. I use the front-facing camera and just deal with the lower quality because I figure just being a better framing would be better, and having that feedback would be better than a slightly higher video quality. Because I've done it before, and like I'll be, talking off in the middle, and the phone will be pointed at completely the wrong place, and I didn't know because I didn't have any feedback. So anyway. So yeah, the whole thing about the aside with the camera is like, if I really wanted to, the next step would be, because this is an old phone. This is an iPhone SE, the first generation SE. So it's like the old iPhone 5s with the square, the small. It was like the like 4.5-inch screen or whatever it was, and I love it because it fits in my hand so well. I love that small form factor, and I haven't upgraded because they haven't offered a newer version in a small size like that. The new SE is actually larger than this, and I have been tempted to get it, but just because this phone's getting old. Like I recently just changed the battery in this thing. That's how old it is. I rarely use my phone. I work from home. I'm rarely away from the house, so I don't really use my battery. My batteries rarely ever go bad before I upgrade my phone, put it that way, because I don't cycle it so much. I don't have a need to cycle it so much. And so the fact that I had to replace the battery on this thing, I think I got the SE like maybe 6 months, maybe a year after it came out. And I love this phone, and I can't get away from it. But I run out of the battery. I got the iFixit kit or whatever. I got an iFixit kit for the phone, and I also have a MacBook that I use at work. And I replaced the battery in that as well, just because just something I wanted to try doing, and it went all right. Kind of bungled the phone battery replacement. I have weird issues every now and then with the touchscreen on the phone now, and I could take it back apart, and it's one of the connectors is loose. Is almost certainly the issue, because they're very, very finicky. So I imagine if I got in there, put a little alcohol on the connector or whatever, and then reseated it, made sure I got a firm click out of each one of them, and then put everything back together, I'm sure it would be fine. I just haven't done it. But anyway, I just replaced the battery in this thing. So that was me saying, okay, well, I want to try to get at least another year or two out of this phone. And but I had this thing with with the I keep wanting to get a new camera, and the iPhone cameras, the newer ones, are actually pretty decent. And fact is, for casual use, a front-facing, a decent front-facing camera, a decent selfie camera on the iPhone, just a 1080p would be perfectly fine for me. If it could do 1080p, 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second would be overkill. But as long as it could do 30 frames per second, it would be perfectly fine for the things that I would want to do. And I've got less than 5 minutes because I've been jibber jabbering this whole time. Oh my God. So yeah, and really, I think it goes back to the real reason that I want to upgrade is I feel like, that next gadget or whatever is going to make things better or whatnot. And the truth is even if I did buy it, even if it would, and I did use it all the time. Just say I used it every single week. Use the new camera to make a video every single week for YouTube. That would still be such a small part of my life that I couldn't justify the several $1,000s of buying a new phone, buying a new one of those fancy cameras. And I could get there's this other camera that I've been looking at, the Sony EV1 or the EV1 ZGE10 or something or other. It's their budget. They have a vlogger one with an integrated lens, and then they have one that's slightly better, but it uses the E-mount lenses, like interchangeable lenses. I thought about getting the one with the interchangeable lenses because, it was only like, I think, $800 or $900 or whatever for the kit. And I was like, that's not too bad. But again, we get back to it, like, I would be better off upgrading my phone, using that money to upgrade my phone. Instead of, I don't need a separate device. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just gear envy or what. But we'll see. Maybe we'll do more of these, and then it'll become more apparent whether or not I should upgrade or not. But I've got like a minute and a half before I think we got a 30-minute limit on the recording, so we'll call it that. I actually walked like 3 times as long as I normally walk. This is 1.13, a mile and a tenth. Probably by the time we get back to the house, it'll be a complete mile. I mean, a mile and a quarter, mile and a 15th. Anyway, I don't know if this is any good, but hope you guys have a good night or a good next week, and we'll see you guys soon.